So hey everyone, I'm alive, I guess. Summer has started, and videos have actually been coming out within-ish close proximity to each other. So I think I'm kind of doing okay on the uploads because, I mean, 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, and then today. But so this is actually going to be a theory video, which, I mean, hasn't been done on this channel, as far as you guys know, ever, unless you're a really old viewer, in which case you'll know there were some dark times. FNAF was shit, let's just be honest. Anyway, me and my friends were kind of watching and we saw the Pokemon Let's Go trailer and we realized something kind of interesting, kind of in sequential order. First of all, it apparently is a Pokemon Red remaster, which is cool because that means I can finally, experience those older games and, not have to either pirate them or get an original Game Boy. But also, that's the game with Missingno in it, right? Like, see where I'm going here? Like, and I was like, there's no way they would put it in, right? But then I had a thought, and it's like, why? I mean, they could. I mean, if they really want to, like, if they don't care about, like, the fact the Pokemon was a glitch. It wasn't even a Pokemon, it was an error. If they wanted to put that in as like a joke or a self-reference, why not? If you look at their history, I mean, they've made Rob the Robot and Game & Watch playable characters and amiibo in their own games. They've made references to previous games within the sequels, and like Splatoon has the end zap. So I mean, sure, these aren't references to bugs necessarily, but I mean, like in the case of Game & Watch and Rob, they reference parts of their history that weren't exactly the best in terms of most people's eyes. I mean, like Angry Video Game Nerd did videos tearing the shit out of Rob the Robot and all the, like, Game & Watch little weird things. So obviously those aren't beloved or quality moments in Nintendo's history, but I mean, they reference them anyway, which I find really interesting because, like, maybe they would reference a glitch, right? And I mean, I'm not saying that they keep in the original glitch. Like, they're building the game from the ground up on a new console, probably with a new engine or one very similar to the previous Pokemon games. So they're not going to just, like, transfer the game's code and then the bug still works, whoop-de-doo. But, adding in some sort of Easter egg, I think maybe something they do, which led to the next part of the conversation I had on Skype. Apparently, the first 151 Pokemon are available on launch. I haven't gotten news that they're being patched in, but just to be, cover all bases, all the articles I've read are basically saying the first 151 are going to be available when the game launches. Okay. But then you can apparently exclusively transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go, the device I'm actually using to record this on. You can transfer items from Pokemon Go, to Pokemon Let's Go. You can transfer Pokemon, presumably, from the phone with 376 Pokemon to the world where there's only 151. I'm not exactly saying that this will happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I mean, like, just as a theory, just as like a, hey, what if they did this? It'd be really cool, right? Because presumably in Pokemon Let's Go, or you'd have some sort of glitch going on, unless because there's two ways they could handle this, right? They could either go, they could just do the bloomp error message, this Pokemon has a number of 152 or above, which is something they could totally do. And, or they could let the transfer go through, like obviously do like a confirm or deny, like this Pokemon could be lost in the transfer, blah, 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 kind of like hype it up as lore or whatever, But then also, if you transfer something from above 151 into the game, what's it gonna do, right? Like, you already have prime bug material right there. Like, assuming it's not just like, you put your phone next to your Switch and then magic happens. Assuming you go to like a transfer facility where there's like, a guy, like maybe how you could bring back the fossils. There's that one guy who has the fossil reviver machine. What if he now has the ability to bring Pokemon from Go into Let's Go? Which would mean that you could then have like the Missingno thing explained where You know, if it's above 152, the machine can't comprehend it because it's never seen that Pokemon before. Therefore, it doesn't assemble its physical form correctly. And it also just displays the name. It's Missingno because the Pokemon has a number greater than the machine's ever been programmed to handle. You literally have a lore explanation on how Missingno could happen in Let's Go. And also, what's this special Pokemon that you could exactly have in Pokemon Let's Go? Like, they say at the end of the trailer, like, a special Pokemon, you know, you'll meet up with that special Pokemon. Which Pokemon? Like, because out of the 151, which one's special? Which one's, like, big enough that it's, like, or mysterious enough to not show? Like, unless they add in, like, a teaser 152nd, you know, Pokemon to just tease the fact they're going to add in more Pokemon later, like, why would they make it all mysterious? I'm not gonna, like, go mic drop, you know, shit confirmed on the fact that Missingno could be in this game, but I mean, like, it's where he appeared. It's where the weird gaseous cloud appeared. It's where it could happen in, I believe, multiple different forms. And you already have some sort of weird conflict where you have more Pokemon in Go than Let's Go. And it's really interesting that in this sort of scenario, you can explain it, like, you know, you don't have to break the lore of the game necessarily. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Easter eggs that just break a game, like, in terms of, like, you know, you're playing Dark Souls and suddenly you're using a candy cane as a weapon, and it, like, knocks people 40 fucking, you know, miles across the map. I don't care about that stuff, but if, like, a lot of the Pokemon fans would, you could even explain Missingno in this scenario. Like, in other games, it wouldn't really make sense. You're just walking through a cave or some tall grass, and suddenly a weird, gaseous, pixelated cloud shows up. But then it's like, in this game, a machine that theoretically teleports Pokemon from one world to another, or, you know, one device to another, it would have to reassemble the physical form if you want to explain it. The transfer itself, not even the bug, the transfer, lore-wise. Well, if it's never seen that Pokemon before, if it doesn't know how to reassemble it, how would the machine handle it? Maybe I'm just being like a dweeb and hoping that, like, one of my favorite video game glitches in all history is ish made canon. Maybe I'm just being a dweeb and being like, hey, imagine if they did this. I really want this to happen, because Missingno is freaking great. I've always had this thing with Missingno. Like, most people went to go push the truck, and I was just like, how do I get Missingno in Fire Red? But I'm just hoping that this, like, Missingno thing does happen, because it would be super cool. It would just be like, because in the actual Pokemon games, like Let's Go is a remaster of, you could get cards and you could, like, you know, give your Pokemon certain moves using these cards. So you could, like, perfectly get a battle Missingno good and leveled up. And then, presumably, in the end of the game's trailer, that may be the one thing you can transfer to the phone. Because in the articles it says, like, it's a Go to Let's Go only transfer. But in the trailer, you see something go from the Switch to the phone. And Missingno, there's no way to even implement Missingno in Go. So, maybe another game? If you enjoyed this little mini theory where I have, like, an almost official tripod set up, like, and, you know, I'm actually centered and looking into the camera half the time, I'm probably not going to do a lot of these, like, vlog, theory-style things, but with this game in particular, it was like, I have to, because I thought of this last night at, like, you know, 1 in the morning, and then, you know, I looked it up, and, like, no one else was thinking about this, and I'm just like, well, I have to get my thought out, right, because this could be cool. I don't know, if you think it's likely, comment down below. If you don't think it's likely, I guess also comment down below. Hope you enjoyed this little experiment in, like, hey, I'm dipping my toe into the water with Nintendo theory videos. See you in the next one. Well, next video. I don't know if I'll be doing another Let's Go video, unless we get, like, you know, information or hints. Anyway, see ya.